Should we buy a landscaping business? That's the question that we're answering tonight. And we're going to do a little good old fashioned deal review tonight. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Deal Flow Live podcast, where we review deals of businesses that are for sale. And we just talk about whether these are worth buying and what kind of grade we would give for this as an acquisition opportunity. And we're going to talk a little bit about this landscaping business potential acquisition tonight and whether or not this would make sense to buy for the price it's listed for, maybe what kind of offer we would make instead based on the information that's being presented. Ryan, tell us a little bit about your thoughts on the landscaping industry and what we might want to be thinking about in a deal like this.
I mean, it varies from business to business, especially in this area, but the stronger the cash flow and the stronger the business itself in the sense of sales and recurring revenue, usually you're going to have a more solid overall business base. I say that because anyone can start a landscaping company by buying a mower and just going around asking for people who they want to do their lawn for. So getting something that's more established or something that is actually entrenched in the community and doing scaled up larger projects is certainly something that could be very beneficial. And this one in particular, with the way that they're really kind of boosting these numbers, is offering the real estate with it. Even though with a cash flow of 1.3 million, you certainly are commanding quite a high price, even at the 2 and 3 multiples. You could probably even, I would say even 4 on that is a fair ask. Getting the 7.4 as a price, you're certainly on you're certainly on a sizable chunk of land, more than likely. With a gross revenue of 5.3 and the real estate being 2, we're looking at about a 5x on the a little over, actually, no, probably just under 5x on the cash flow plus the real estate. So sizable ask here.
Big ask. A little bit about the business too. It's looks like it's got healthy margins. Gross revenue is 5.299 million and the cash flow is 1.312. Represents just under a 25% margin. So healthy margin business. It's not fantastic by any means, but it's a healthy margin kind of business.
I think those are pretty great margins, especially because in retail, you're really kind of at the mercy of your buyers and your sources. So I would assume that a decent chunk of that is probably going to be FF&E. I'm not sure if they're going to state it. So you're buying not only the store but the inventory. So it's kind of a large asset purchase. So I think when you're considering that you're selling equipment and probably a lot of lawn accessories, that you might be doing pretty well on this one.
Now, I wonder, so the first thing I think about in a business like this is, the maximum for like a regular SBA acquisition loan, which is probably going to be one of the best ways to purchase something like this, is going to be $5 million. And they're listing it with $2 million worth of real estate. I wonder if they're married to selling the real estate in this case, or if, the owner is, I wonder if an owner in this case would sell it without the real estate. Because I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, it's not, you couldn't do 5.4, but maybe you could offer 5 flat and all of a sudden you could, you could have it without the real estate,
but the real estate
under an SBA loan
does open up it to that other type of SBA loan, which can go up to 50.
It's a good point.
So you might do that. However, I think another way to look at this, and
those spread out over more years too, right?
Yes. So
like 25.
Yeah, you can go. I mean, even a regular SBA, I think, can now go up to 30, 10, 20, 30.
What's the rate look like on that though?
They're not too terrible, if I recall. I know there's been a lot of fluctuation now. The SBA is back in session. But one thing that I've noticed about this is that they're listing about 950K of sellable inventory and 108K of equipment. So if you said that's around, let's say, a little over a mil, one mil, 58K, you might be able to work something out where you say, okay, can we take that off the price and I can buy out the inventory? You can sometimes, with a very flexible seller, say, hey, look, can I take out a loan to buy the inventory from you, or do some sort of seller? It would depend on the complexity of the deal, and maybe they want to, maybe they don't, but you might be able to shave a little bit off the top if you offer to buy out the inventory over X amount of time. So every time you make a sale, a portion would go back to the owner or former owner, that is, of the business. So that is one way if you really wanted to get that purchase price down. But it gets tricky because sellable inventory is technically MSRP'd, so it's hard to negotiate that down.
Yeah, and it looks like you know, you could make something work if you made this purchase over the course of like a 25-year SBA loan. If you were able to do that, I mean, your debt service is going to be $300,000 to $400,000 a year on something making 1.3 million a year in cash flow. I just don't know if the average person's going to qualify for something like that, and it's still going to take nearly $1 million in cash down as well.
Yeah, you're also going to get under a lot of scrutiny from the SBA and how they're going to view retail, especially retail in a niche. While I think the area of Florida, it lends itself quite well to this. I think that we would see a lot of people getting higher rates or requiring higher down payments for this, and probably requesting a reduction in price depending on your lender. So you might have to even shop this around lenders to find somebody who will at the end of the day.
Could be. I mean, I don't know. It's got a lot of good things going for it. If the 950K is legitimate assets and the real estate, there's a lot of collateral in this deal too.
Yeah, you can certainly shave a lot off of this one. There's a lot of room to make some creative financing happen.
They do actually say seller financing available in this listing too.
But they don't list it in there, which is disappointing. But
you mean the rates that they're
offering? They don't list what the seller's willing to or how much, which is unfortunate.
They do.
Oh, they do.
They're willing to finance up to $1 million at 7%.
Okay, so for better or for worse, they're willing to finance the equipment, the sellable inventory. So
that's what it sounds like. Yeah.
That's actually pretty reasonable, and you could definitely ask them to knock off about $1 million of that purchase price. So if you get to 6 flat, plus the owner holding another $1 million, you might actually be working on something with a 25-year rate. Again, it's really hard to argue against MSRP of purchased equipment that's brand new because technically the price matches.
This business has been open since 2003 as well, it says. So I doubt that a lot of that equipment is new.
Well, I'm saying if they have sellable inventory and since they're a retail store, I would imagine they're only selling new equipment.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's equipment sales and service business. So I wonder what the mix looks like between actual equipment sales and service.
Well, if they have equipment, that's probably their trucks and their fleet, but they got almost $1 million of that.
Oh, this is interesting too. Check it out. So it said down here $1 million at 7%, but in the description it says seller has tremendous faith in the future of this business and is offering incredible seller financing of $3 million at a low 7% interest rate for 7 years. So that knocks the purchase price down to, let's see, about 4.4 down, 4.4 million.
And we're just basing this off of face. We're not saying any negotiation on this one, so that's where these numbers are coming from.
Exactly. This is listed for 7.4.
I mean, even 4.4 across, let's say 25 years, and it's going to be probably at 9.10 or 9.7 to 10% on that one. If you're getting another $3 million that's at 7%, that drastically reduces.
Now you can't have seller financing and SBA happening at the same time anymore, though.
Yeah, I know. You'd have to buy the business you'd have to negotiate a side offer if you really wanted to do that. But odds are he's looking for somebody to come with cash to kind of meet him in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they want 4.4 million down in cash. Now, I wonder though if 2 million is the real estate, I wonder if you could come into a business like this with, let's say you cut out the 2 million, 2.4. I wonder if you could come into something like this with 2.4 million in cash down, which, albeit, don't get me wrong, is a lot of cash down. That's a lot of cash. But I wonder if you could come in with 2.4 million cash down, and then you could purchase the real estate with a mortgage. And that would be, I don't know, let's say you need 25% down, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's about 20-25 for a regular property.
So let's say 25% down. of the 2 million, you'd need another 500,000. So you could probably come in with about $3 million in cash and a mortgage payment and a seller financing arrangement. That might be the best structure for a deal like this.
I would agree with that. So, with that in mind, it seems like this is a very clear cut. I want to sell to a competitor or larger institution. They're not looking for the individual investor unless the individual happens to have that type of money. This feels like someone's looking for somebody else across the state to buy them and put their logo on the front of their building and just continue on business as usual. I think they could get. I think they're well within their asking right about that range, especially with everything they have. So I don't think it's a far cry for them to be like, we could definitely maybe get this.
Yeah, I mean, if you're calling that real estate a legitimate 2 million, they're essentially asking for about a little over a 4 times multiple,
Which
seems reasonable
for 1.4, yeah, that's where it's
Yeah.
reasonable.
Yeah, this is a well structured offer. This is something, I think it's time to give this deal a grade. What else do you want to know about this business before we grade it?
I mean, I think we saw they have about 11 employees, so it's a well-staffed business. They got almost a 7,000 square foot building, which is incredible.
Big building, yeah.
Yeah, so you're getting a lot of it. I mean, even if the worst case scenario happens, you have land now, and you can sell land. You can sell it to somebody, so you'd at least get out from under it a little bit quicker. But I think if we're going to give it a grade, I think we have to kind of caveat our grades and kind of break out how we would assess this. I think if I'm looking at it from an industry competitor perspective, I'd give this an A minus. If I own a store of similar size and thing, I'm calling this guy up and saying, let's figure something out. As an individual, say just coming into this, I'm going to give this a D. I don't think it's terribly attainable. And that's not,
It's fair.
the business is fine. I just think for the individual, this is just not reasonable for someone to come to the table with.
It's true. Yeah, it's definitely not for just an individual trying to buy a business, but I would agree. I think that the way the deals, like, I just want to kind of start with how the deal is structured and how they're offering it. I would give it an A because I think that the bones of the business, it looks like a very good business, healthy, good profit margin, been around a long time, solid base of employees. They're really not asking for too much for what it is. I completely agree with Ryan in the sense that this is not attainable for the average person. But if you owned something that even kind of like fit within this category and you were just trying to get some more market share, I think this is kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, I think this is frankly, this is a very generous offer from an owner who clearly understands how he's going to have to get his business out of his hands with his financing. So I think all in all, if this is something that if we were in the market for this would be one we'd be sitting down and having serious conversations, because clearly the owner is open to seller financing. He's open to creative. So this is something you could get a deal across, no problem.
Very cool. Let us know what you think in the comments. Is this a good deal? Is this a deal that you would look to do if you were in the market for something like this? And what did we get right? What did we get wrong? Are we crazy? Should we buy this landscaping business right away? We've been interested in the space recently. That's why we wanted to take a look at this. Actually got some potential loose plans to make an acquisition in the landscaping space, in the next year or two. So yeah, let us know what you think, and let us know what kind of deals you want to see us review on the show next. Ryan, anything else you would say about this particular deal?
No, I think it's good for what it is. I'd say that this is the type of person, more than just the deal itself. I think the owner and the way that they're talking about the business is something where that's somebody you want to engage with. That's a sign of a good, competent owner who knows what he has and understands the complexity of selling it for that high of a price.
I agree. Well, until the next time, this has been the Deal Flow Live podcast, where we review business deals. We talk all things business buying and selling and everything in between. And this has been just a review of a landscaping business. We've kind of determined that this one's not for the average person trying to buy a business. But if you happen to be in the industry, maybe you know someone who owns a landscaping business and is trying to expand to Orange County, Florida, maybe this is one that would interest them.
Might be.
Find it on BizBuySell, and we'll see you on the next one.
See